Hi Oddings, it's your Ate Sapphire. I have a very special offer for you from my new favorite website, ThreadUp. So if you want to learn how to get 30% off of your first order, stick around after this episode.
Hey, I'm Sapphire.
Want to hear something scary?
The Bubak.
The following story is based on a submission from Anastasia. In Spain in the 1990s, there lived a 12-year-old girl named Lucia. She lived on a farm surrounded by fields with her two parents. Every other weekend or so, her parents had to go into town for different business reasons, conventions, conferences, what have you. Lucia was much too young to tag along with them, so they would leave her at home where her cousin Emily would babysit. Emily was only 3 years older than Lucia, so she would always protest. Why do I even need a babysitter? I'm old enough to watch myself. But her parents disagreed. Lucia probably wouldn't have minded this as much if she actually liked her cousin. But Emily loved to play pranks on her. She'd always try to scare her with monster stories or try to convince her that her toys were possessed. So it was a Friday morning, and Lucia's parents had left, leaving Lucia and Emily alone on the farm. Emily was going to make them breakfast, so she asked Lucia to gather some eggs from the hens. Lucia walked over to the coop and noticed something in the corner of her eye. In the middle of the field was a scarecrow. It hadn't been there before, so Lucia was positive it was just one of her cousin's pranks. She rolled her eyes and went to get the eggs. She didn't mention to Emily that she saw the scarecrow. She was just going to ignore it. The next morning, Lucia went to gather more eggs for breakfast. The scarecrow was still there in the field. Lucia chuckled to herself, entertained by her cousin's attempts to scare her. When she gathered the eggs and walked back to the house, she stopped in her tracks. The scarecrow was now much closer than it was before. Okay, that got me, Lucia chuckled to herself. She didn't notice it before because it was so far away, but Lucia was shocked by how ugly it was. She grabbed an egg and threw it at its grotesque face. She pranced into the kitchen and placed the bucket of eggs on the counter. I'll admit it, that scarecrow's pretty good, Lucia said. Emily looked up from the pan. What are you talking about? You can stop the act, cousin. How long did it take you to make that? Emily turned the stove off and wrinkled her brow. Where did you say you saw the scarecrow? It's right where you last left it, at the edge of the field. Emily rushed over to the window and looked around. Lucia skipped up behind her and looked out as well. But the scarecrow was gone. Whoa, how'd you do that? Emily hastily pulled the curtain closed and pulled Lucia to the ground, lowering her voice to a whisper. Lucia, are you familiar with the Bubak? You are unbelievable. Listen to me. It came for one of my friends not too long ago. It goes after young children. It makes a sound like a crying baby to make you come near it, and when you're close enough, it takes you and throws you in his sack to eat later. We have to stick together today. Cool story, cousin. I'm gonna go read in my room. Don't bother me until dinner, okay? So Lucia locked herself in her room and read her fantasy book on her bed. She didn't even realize she had fallen asleep until she was awoken by a sound coming from the other side of her room. It was a baby crying. Nice try, cuz, Lucia drowsily shouted into the darkness. She reached over and turned her lamp on and was startled by the figure in her room. It was the scarecrow. Lucia? Lucia, are you there? A muffled cry came from behind it. Lucia spotted the large, writhing sack where the sound was coming from. Seriously, Emily, when are you going to give it up? Lucia got out of her bed and approached the scarecrow, ready to call her cousin out. But with every step, her confidence began to wear off. The closer she got, the more details she noticed. The pole holding up its hideous body slowly began to coil like a snake. This scarecrow was alive. Lucia, run! The scarecrow revealed its raggedy arms from underneath its tattered clothes and raised them towards Lucia. She ran out of her bedroom, frantically searching for a place to hide. She could hear the Bubak slithering not too far behind her. She ran into the kitchen and hid inside the smallest cupboard that she could squeeze into. And she waited. She was going to wait there for as long as she could. Her parents would be home the next morning. She was going to make it. Just then, the kitchen phone rang. It went to voicemail.
Hi, Lucy. It's Mom and Dad. We actually booked a couple more meetings out here, and we thought a lot about it. And, you're right. You are a big girl, and you can take care of yourself for another day or so. And Emily, we know we only paid you until tomorrow morning, so feel free to go home. Lucy will be fine. So, yeah, just call us back at our hotel when you get the chance, okay? Love you.
So I personally love ThredUp for multiple reasons. One, I love shopping secondhand because you get to find really unique pieces. And if I'm being completely honest, the clothes that get the most compliments for me are the ones that I buy secondhand. So it's like, why pay more money, right? And you're also helping the environment because fashion is actually the second most polluting industry in the world. So when I opened my shipment, I was actually incredibly impressed by the quality of all the items I got. Honestly, you wouldn't be able to tell that these items were used. And that's because ThredUp hand inspects and triple checks all of the items to make sure that they're in the best condition. Finding the items online was super easy. You can filter it by your size and style that you're looking for. There's so many items on the store because it is the world's largest online consignment store, so you are guaranteed to find something that you'll love. And I got all of these items for more than 90% off of their retail price. I saved over $300, which is awesome. ThredUp is giving Something Scary listeners a limited time offer of an extra 30% off your first order. Visit thredup.com/SS. That's ThredUp with no A. Terms apply. Thank you to all of our patrons, especially Emily Smith, who had a character named after them in today's episode. If you'd like to join our VIP program and get included in the show, visit patreon.com/snarled. Want more Something Scary? You can hear more stories over on the Something Scary podcast, available for free on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. The links are in the description below. If you'd like to submit a story, send me an email at somethingscary@snarled.com. Like and share this video if it gave you the chills. And don't forget to subscribe to Snarled and turn on the bell for notifications. And if you dare, follow me on social media. Until next time, sweet dreams.